So I did do a short, very temporary video on Square a few weeks ago while I was still renovating, and I wanted to take this opportunity to do a little bit more of an in-depth and better video on exactly why I've decided to invest in Square and why I think it's such a great investment for us and our portfolio. So, first of all, obviously, if you've not watched that video, make sure to watch it after this because there may be points that I've kind of missed in this video. Hopefully most of it's going to be rehashed and then more content added on top just to kind of explain it a bit better. So first of all, obviously, not sure if you're aware, but the CEO of Square, the person who created Square, is a guy called Jack Dorsey. And you may well know him because of the fact that he created Twitter, or is one of the co-creators of Twitter. So obviously we're talking about someone who is a very smart person. He's great with business, and he understands what customers want. He's a very innovative person, and if you watch any interviews with him or presentations that he's done, he's a very switched on guy who I can see a lot of potential in future businesses coming from him outside of Square as well. So there's kind of three main things for any business that I kind of look at, and that they're almost like investment criteria. For me, it's what tells you whether the business is a good business and whether it's setting itself up for the future. Kind of buzzwords a little bit at the moment as well. So the first one is the DTC, direct to consumer. And if a business is trying its best to kind of cut out any middlemen and go straight to the customer, that's instantly a kind of a plus. And if they have the opportunity to do that, but they're not doing it, then that's a big red flag for me. The second one, kind of moving on from that, is providing your customer with a very user-friendly, quick and easy service. So for example, obviously if you look at the car industry, if you want to buy a new car, you 9 times out of 10 have to go to the dealership and you have to chat with a salesman, you have to go through the whole rigmarole, whereas Tesla, you can go online and buy it. So like if I wanted to, I could turn around now, buy myself a Tesla, and the whole process would be done in a couple of minutes. And that for me is another really big important aspect of businesses going forward, is that if businesses are making transactions with them harder and not easier, then again that's a big red flag. And if they have the ability to do it but they're choosing not to, like most of the car industry, then that is a really big issue for me. And the third thing is I want a business that looks at its customers and it looks at the service that it provides them and it looks at what else it can provide that same customer. And the reason that I'm talking about these right now is obviously you'll know them already, but that third one is the one that Square really excels at. They have found their customer, they've started providing their customer with their service all those years ago, and they've continuously built up packages around that customer. So they kind of have their customer base, and then they've kind of found ways of inventing new products that kind of bolt on to their existing thing and just expand on it. And the way that it kind of grows is so important for a business, because what you're doing is, first of all, obviously you're getting the most out of every single customer that you can, which obviously from a business profitability stand is very important. But what you're also doing is you're showing the innovation, you're finding your customers' problems and you're finding ways to solve them, which again it shows that the business has a lot of growth potential. It's innovating and it's encouraging customers to come to the platform because it's solving those problems. And then the other element of that is the fact that you then kind of lock your customers in by the respect in the respect of they then have all these products that work for them and that do for them everything that they need. So they're then not going to see a competitor's package and go, oh, I'll just swap this for that, because what they've already kind of built themselves into is like a whole sphere. And obviously Apple is another company that does this really well. Anyone that's got an iPhone more than likely has other Apple products. And once you get into that Apple sphere, you're far more likely to buy an iOS device than an Android device. And obviously the same with Android is you kind of like get yourself locked into that bubble. And with Square, another reason why that's kind of so important is because this is a regular thing for any customer that buys into the Square main product, the card services, the payment services. You're talking about a regular income from this customer. So the longer that you hold this customer for, the better it is. And if you're locking a customer in and you're servicing all of their needs, then you're stopping them from going elsewhere, not only because of the fact that they're not going to be swapping individual elements out, but it's also because if you have a competitor, say for example you're not Square, you're a different company that provides those transaction details, card payment solutions, and your customer is saying, I love this payment solutions, you're the best in the market. However, this other payment provider also offers these other services, so I'll get those other services with them and I'll keep your payment providing service for now. And then while they're using those other services, they actually decide that they like that other package better, and then they swap your payment services for the competitor's payment services. Now, I'm sorry if I've lost you with that kind of like little trail there, but it basically, it just sort of, it stops customers from seeing their competitors, seeing your competitors. So therefore, it stops the customers from experiencing different service and therefore moving away for that reason, which obviously in a monopoly-esque type way isn't good for the customer. But at the same time, because of the fact that you're providing all this great sort of wraparound product services, it allows to keep the customer locked into your service so much better. And that in a nutshell is kind of why I am so keen on Square going forward, is because the way that the business is run itself from that basic fundamental element is really, really critical for a growth company. So if it didn't have that whole element, then there's a good chance that I wouldn't be investing in this. Regardless of the potential of the market size, if it doesn't have the innovation, if it doesn't have that kind of element of trying to get the most from the business and kind of fitting into my three kind of loves of a business, if it doesn't have one of those, then it wouldn't be on this list. And another thing about Square is the fact that they have a good reputation, and Jack Dorsey really kind of pushes the business in a positive direction, in the way that, for example, what he's doing is he's looking at underserved communities. He's looking at people that maybe the big banking sector are ignoring because of the fact that it's, small transactions, it's not worth their time. And obviously this is hugely profitable for the business. And it's great from the business perspective purely on that basis. But the fact that the way that it comes across is far more about helping the end customer and helping people that don't have these opportunities. And the way that, for example, the business is pushing into Africa and trying as best as it can. Obviously, there are a lot of regulatory issues with the whole continent across Africa, let alone each individual country. So you're talking about various different issues. Just on a side note, one of the many reasons why I really don't think Jumia is a great investment opportunity at this stage, but that's for another video. But like I say, the way that Jack kind of pushes forward with this gives such a positive business perspective and perception that it definitely helps to draw new customers in that regard. Another element is the fact that because of the fact that the business does such a wraparound element for its customers, it, for example, it has the staff software, so for paying your staff, which they allow you to push forward payments, and as a member of staff you can get your wages slightly earlier, which obviously then encourages staff to download and to use the Cash App. So that means that not only now is the business using Cash App, is using Square technology and is buying the whole suite, but you now have all their staff from a personal level using the Cash App and using Square products, which then means that then when they go out using their Square products, they're going to make Square more money when they then purchase from other Square retailers. So it's a whole circle, never-ending kind of spiral of benefit to Square. And obviously I downloaded the Cash App on my phone just to see what it was like. Now that we've got in the UK, I thought it might be a good idea to try and see what kind of the service is like here in the UK. I mean, to be honest, it does seem like most of the features available to the US are not yet available in the UK. When they will be available, I don't know. It doesn't really seem to be a huge amount of information online. So the US service seems to be great. There seems to be a lot there. Hopefully that will kind of trickle through to us. But from what I can see on the app, it is literally just a place to put some money and to scan QR codes, which, to be fair, doesn't really seem to be all that beneficial. So I'm not really sure that the Cash App itself will necessarily do that particularly well here in the UK at this stage. Whether that might change in the near future, whether they might add more features to the program, hopefully. Obviously, it's one thing that they do. They are constantly expanding. They are constantly adding new things and moving throughout. So there is a good chance that it will get better. And obviously, I'll be keeping an eye on the app to find out exactly what changes they make and when they make them, so that I know what's going on with the company and with the investment. Then we have cryptocurrencies. So obviously one bit of news not that long ago was that Square bought a whole load of Bitcoin. And another bit of news, probably quite a couple of years ago actually, but they have got the technology to basically allow someone to make a purchase in any currency. So, for example, if I took my Cash App or whatever to another country, I don't need to convert all my currency and have, say, for example, if I went to the US, I wouldn't need US dollars. I would be able to use my UK Cash App, use my pounds, and they would then, I'd be able to pay, and it would automatically translate for me. Now, obviously, what that kind of means is there is the potential that could also be done with cryptocurrencies, that the person on the other end doesn't technically need to accept Bitcoin, because if you want to pay in Bitcoin, you kind of go, I'll pay Bitcoin. The seller says, that'll be $10, and then Square should then also do like an automatic calculation of, right, $10 worth of Bitcoin at this current exchange rate, that's that much Bitcoin. And then hopefully, if they are able to kind of take that further forward, like they do seem to be moving in that direction, obviously then that means that to an extent any cryptocurrency on their kind of system could be used for transactions, which would obviously be absolutely amazing progress for cryptocurrencies if they were being used as a currency, which at the moment they're not. Obviously, I've probably made my feelings about cryptocurrencies as they currently stand quite clear, that they're not really currencies. You can't really use them as a currency, because they're not really, the majority of them are not really set up in that right way. Bitcoin is no more of a currency than gold is, and obviously most of you will know that I often say, if you hear anyone saying that we're going to go back to the gold standard, or even considering the gold standard to be a viable option in the future, you instantly know they have absolutely no idea about the basic fundamentals of economics. So those same people, a similar mindset that are talking about Bitcoin, while Bitcoin is under its current system, that's never going to become a viable currency. So if Square does start accepting it, that would be a great thing for Square to kind of manage as such. And I think that's a big part of why they've bought this large amount of Bitcoin, is to allow them to do that. But yeah, I guess only time will tell with that, and see how far that goes forward. So I think that's pretty much everything I can think of regarding Square. Like I say, there probably is things that I've missed. There will probably be more videos in the future with earnings calls and whatever as they come out. Obviously, talking about earnings calls, yes, I guess we are in the third month of this final quarter, Q4, also known as the golden quarter for many retailers. So there's a good chance that we could get a bump in revenue for Square based on this. I'm not so sure, because of the fact that when you look historically, it doesn't seem to be a huge bump in Q4 revenue all the time for Square. So this may well be that they don't actually, that they have a good spread of different types of retailers and different merchants. So they may not actually get as much of a bump. Honestly, I just don't know. But we'll have to see how that goes. But there is the potential that they could get a good bump in sales and revenue. Especially with obviously like the various different expansion that they've been doing over the past over the past year, really now, isn't it? God, can't believe that this has been going on that long. So yeah, obviously Square have massively expanded all the platform out to the UK and Australia. I think have been the biggest expansions. So obviously we're going to start seeing revenue coming in from that, which should be a really good boost as well. So definitely looking forward to the next earnings call, which I'm assuming will be probably early February, to give us October, November and December's revenue. So that'll be cool. And like I say, if when I do the video for that, there may well be another update that will give you various things that I've probably forgotten about or missed in this one. So thanks for watching. Don't forget, this is not financial advice. Don't take financial advice from randoms on YouTube, and I'll see you in the next video.